So bring your mind to the present moment, here and now, aware of the body sitting and leaving all your responsibilities aside. And just to be here and now, the moment with the body. And checking your motivation to join this practice hour, why you have joined this, and also making a resolution that you will be continue practicing. A resolution is very important so that we can gain more patience and eventually attain the desired objects. Our mind is always conditioned, and its conditioned arises. Without the conditions, there is no mind. And that condition, most of the time, is related to our engagement to the external world. As soon as we come to contact with the external world, such as eye sees an object, visible object, our ear hears the sound, so on, we condition ourselves into those objects on the basis of our own pre-existing perception, and we perceive it in accordance with that and engage of forming into different forms, different ways. And this is what we have been doing in our life. We judge things on the basis of what we perceive and what we know and what we think is right, rather than the reality itself. And we emotionally engaged, emotionally joined with it. And with that emotion, we put our identities, our backgrounds. Meanwhile, we will also bring all those past histories related to our own ethnic group, our own nation. And with that, we further on generating different perceptions in relation to the different people. And this is all due to the mind perceiving on the basis of our own perceptions, existing perceptions, which always creates more friction and more troubles. And as we perceive in that way, we project ourselves as an entity, as an object, as in a person, and as an important human beings, an important person in the community, and so and so. And we have this wrong perception of our own self, how important this I am. The moment when we have this view, it generates conceit as well. It's difficult to let go, and we create different emotions, dissatisfactions, unhappiness. Began to complain things. We obviously becomes bias in making decisions, whether about the situation, whether about the person. So practice of a meditation is to understand this nature. An ability to overcome. Understanding that a mind is always conditioned arises. When we ask whether there is a mind or not, in a conventional way there is, but in an ultimate sense, because it's conditioned arises, it is not. And with that, our core essence of our own self is this mind becomes non-self. Then we will not have any emotional traumas, emotional biasness in anything that arises. Mind becomes equanimous, ability to know and see the reality as it is, rather than just knowing because someone has said, because it's written in the book, or because it's a tradition. But we are experiencing it. It's called experiential knowledge, understanding by our own experience. And this experience, again, not biased due to our perceptions or pre existing perceptions, but the reality as it is. When we have this concept of the reality and we have experienced it from our own experience called bhavana, maya panya, the wisdom that arose through the mental cultivation, which has got no biasness at all. There is no our preconcept or any precept perceptions, and we are not again having any proliferations, exaggerations due to the greed, hatred, and delusion. So there is no karma formations. When there is no karma formations, then nothing is created. So our mind is such like that too. The practice is to understand the nature of it and being mindful. Having no attachment to it, whether good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, treating it equally. So sitting comfortably, observing this mind as you are paying attention to on the primary object, and as you are settled down, grounding yourself, and observing all the mental state, all the mental activities that is taking place. And how are you defining? And how are you experiencing? Every action that we do, it has a reaction. So, with a wholesome state of the mind, when we are cultivating wholesome thoughts and wholesome state of the mind, gradually it gives the wholesome fruits. So, with the mind collected here and now, body fully settled, and observing the primary object, gradually extending your awareness about your own mental states. Now it is conditioned each time, each thing that you know. Not only knowing, you have to see it, see the reality of it. With this in mind, continue practicing, sitting comfortable, settling down, grounding yourself on the primary object as a base, working on it until you gain the samadhi, the concentration, and extending it rather than staying with it, extending it to observe other things as it happens. Then making sure there is no biasness, there is no grasping or a thought of rejecting any emotions, but treating them equally. Or mentally you may note it or perceiving it as it is. And whenever you have fully perceived it, again come back to the primary object, the place where you have a foundation. You come back and stay, recharging yourself, a home base. So continue practicing.